Now we are on handshake number 5, and this is called the bow and arrow. Names are good for students to be able to remember them as they are trying to memorize the movements. So we'll keep giving names as we go along. So with handshake number 5 and this bow and arrow, we're starting just like number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to roll up just like we did in number 3 and just like we did in number 4, but the difference is we're going to use a yanking position as we stick this hand through so it looks like a bow and arrow motion. But before we do that, we're going to step our right foot across past the other person's side foot right here. So it'd be his left foot, my right foot going to the outside of his body, and I'm going to rotate this hand up and stick this hand through here this way. Now what this does is allows me to be able to actually grab his shoulder instead of falling short in this position right here and having no grip whatsoever. So 1, 2, his palm is up, I'm rotating his thumb downward as I'm doing this, I'm holding onto his shoulder. Now from this position I'm going to start putting downward pressure and across to my right hip, his hand is going to move. Now from here I'm going to bring my left foot across this way, I'm going to bring my right foot around in a circular step, turning my left toes down to the ground, my knee down once again, and his right hand across to my hip as we roll around, and it'll cause a flipping motion. So at this position right here is very important for students to start learning shoulder roll motions. So again, I am rolling up, I am stepping through as I roll up, this hand is shooting through and rolling, grabbing the shoulder, so it looks like this right here, or that bow and arrow motion. Now from here, I'm stepping my foot across, this other foot around, as I'm bringing this hand around and across to my body, and you'll notice that he's actually past the center of gravity. It's impossible for me to throw him from this position, so I need to pull this hand down, so his head and his body weight are already passing my center of gravity here, and we have that throw. Make sure you rotate that knee down. So at speed, it looks like this. And that is handshake number 5, or the bow and arrow. Thank you. Okay, so as with number 3, we are going to have a alternate version of number 5, or just a supplement. So this is to help students that are beginning to be able to do number 5 and to be able to go through the throwing portion of it without hurting themselves, and to be able to feel comfortable learning that shoulder roll. So we'll go with this one right here. Same thing, bow and arrow motion. 1, pulling through. 2, now as we bring this foot across and this foot down, I will talk him through it. I'm going to still bring this hand across my hip. I'm going to bring my knee down to the ground, and I'm going to talk to him. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as I drop my body down and roll, it's actually going to help him with his shoulder rolling motion. So on this side, you'll be able to see even better. So it looks like this. 1, 2, so we're in position. Now from this position right here, I rotate my knee down and I talk to him. All right, we're gonna roll slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And with that, if the students can go slow, they're going to be much better at being able to shoulder roll without hurting themselves. And at the same time, they won't have so much pressure on their elbows, because they need to be able to do martial arts, especially Hapkido, for a long extended period of time. So being able to shoulder roll out of this is extremely important, to not be hurting your elbows, hyperextending them, hyperextending your shoulders in other throws. This is a very crucial part of the training process. Make sure that you take this slowly and then work your way up to the flipping portion that we had done in the first segment. Thank you. Okay, so still not on number 5, and we're just doing another supplement just to make sure that the person that's rolling is able to roll correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to show this in the incorrect way, where the person will roll and land on their left hip, left side, and it ends up hurting themselves, or they end up hurting themselves with this roll. And they'll do it over and over and over again and not understand why they are experiencing such pain or soreness after class. So we'll show this the wrong way first. I'll go from this angle so you can actually see the roll and go even slow. And you can see how he's landed on his left side, then rolled onto his right side. He ends up hurting his shoulder, ends up hurting the small of his back, his upper back, and his hip at the same time. So now, with this roll right here, what we're going to do, I'm going to get into position, this right here. Now, I'm going to step out of it, and you can see all he has to do is leave this right hand extended and do a regular roll. And you can do this over and over and over again. We'll do it one more time. So I'm in position here. 1, 2, step out of it so he has a position and just allow himself to roll. And then when we do the technique, this roll is a very simple thing to do. But the simple thing is not always the simple thing when it comes to martial arts, unless you allow them to just step back and break things down into pieces. So make sure that you're breaking this down so that way students can be able to actually do this in a safe manner that's going to allow them to practice it, and the person that's getting thrown isn't hurting themselves, because we need students to come back to class instead of acting tough, feeling like they were tough, and then no longer being able to do the class after maybe 2 weeks. All right, thank you.